Hey guys, it's Drummond. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is talking about self-worth. So a lot of you guys commented on my last video where I talked about my relationship with my dad and how my self-esteem was a little bit low because of growing up and never really being shown applause for doing well in life. And honestly, it's something that I've worked on really hard lately, and it's something that a lot of people struggle with. So I thought I would make a video talking about it because sometimes it's a lot easier to accept the negative things that we hear about ourselves just because a lot of times those hit some of the insecurities that we are dealing with on a regular basis. And I know for me, one thing that I deal with on a regular basis when it comes to my insecurities is the fact that I felt like for the longest time I was constantly starting over when it came to my job. I went to college for architecture and I never really kind of finished that. And when it came to my jobs, I felt like I was just kind of cycling through companies and not really moving up in the company. And it wasn't until recently where I got my job with Chantel and they kind of saw that I had some talents and skills and they used those to kind of put me in the right spot. And honestly, this is the first job where I've ever felt like I've moved up and I'm doing something that I love. So thank you so much, Chantel, for seeing something in me and wanting to help me move towards something that is fitted more towards me. There's some people out there who don't get that opportunity, and honestly, I want to tell you that this is something that you have to strive towards. And when it comes to me posting YouTube videos, I'm always trying to be my most authentic self. I'm trying to put myself out there as honest as possible just because I don't want to pretend to be something I'm not and have people believe that I'm something I'm not. So I want to talk about some of my insecurities that I've dealt with just because those are things that other people struggle with too. So I want people to kind of watch this video and be able to relate to me as a person just because I want people to realize that they are not alone in dealing with their insecurities and having low self-esteem, because no matter how many people told me that I was good looking, no matter how many people told me that I was doing really well in life, I kept reflecting back to the fact that I felt like my family never really thought that I was doing well because I didn't finish school and I didn't do anything with my degree in architecture because it wasn't for me. It's not something that I'm passionate about anymore. I loved designing homes and I loved playing around with computer programs and designing 3D models of stuff, but when it came to the stress level of architecture, it wasn't for me. And when I was in college, I discovered something that I was more passionate about, which was life coaching. I was a freshman counselor and I really enjoyed the whole process of helping freshmen become oriented with college and getting used to living on their own and dealing with international students who were coming to the United States for the first time. It was something that I was just really extremely passionate about, and I'm the type of person, like I've said in a lot of videos, I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I'm an extremely caring person, and I read a post not too long ago where it talked about the hardest feeling is wishing that you could stop caring and wishing that you could stop loving just because the world doesn't always cater to those who are really caring and really loving. It really struck hard because for the longest time I was thinking maybe there isn't a place for someone like me that cares so much. Maybe I do need to grow thicker skin. Maybe I do need to stop caring. Maybe I need to stop loving people who are complete strangers and just look out for myself because I'm not that type of person. I can't go through a day and put myself first every single time because I feel like I've been granted so many opportunities, and because I'm in a better place in my life, I feel like I need to share that with people. So for me, dealing with the world kind of telling me that the way that I am isn't good enough, the way that I am isn't going to get me far in life, for the longest time I allowed myself to believe that because I wasn't succeeding. I felt like I was on a cycle of endless jobs that I hated, and honestly, it just felt horrible. To top it all off, relationships weren't going well. Several boyfriends cheated on me. When I moved down to Florida, I actually had someone tell me that the reason why all my boyfriends left me was because I wasn't willing to be in an open relationship. In my head, I was just like, maybe I've got this all wrong. Maybe I'm doing this wrong and the way that I think is incorrect. But honestly, after kind of fighting and pushing back and saying, no, I'm right, I've gotten to a point where I am happy and I do have a job that I love, and honestly I've been moving more and more towards being a life coach and hopefully having my own business support me one day so that I can do YouTube and life coaching and that be it, and just travel the world and have fun. And for the longest time, I found my self-worth in compliments that people were feeding me, and that's a really toxic way to live, because honestly, you can't live off of comments. And the way that social media is now, I feel like that's how a lot of us are living, because we post something and we want tons of likes, and when we post videos on YouTube, we want tons of views. But for me, it's gotten to the point where when I post things, I just hope that people see it, and I hope that people read it, and I hope that people watch my YouTube videos, because I try to push the message that everyone is perfect just the way that they are, and you don't want to spend your entire life trying to be someone that you're not, because you'll be miserable. And for the longest time, I was trying to be someone that I wasn't. I looked at other people's lives and I wanted to be like them, and I saw people living happy lives, and I was just like, oh, why isn't my life like that? And then I started doing life coaching, and I realized that a lot of the people that I looked at and wished that I had their lives, a lot of those people aren't living that great of lives. They post stuff just like I do, and they make their lives seem amazing, and honestly, they're struggling just as much. So when you're out there feeling low on self-esteem, remember that a lot of those people that you are focusing on, and a lot of those people that you wish you were, they're struggling as well. And a lot of them are struggling in silence because they aren't sharing that side of themselves with the world. And the world is kind of seeing them as this perfect person, and they don't really get the attention that they need to kind of help them through the struggles that they're dealing with. Something else that I've recently overcome was the fact that when I first came out, well, I wasn't really out. When I first started talking to guys, there was this one guy that I just had a huge crush on, and we ended up meeting, and I fell head over heels for this person. And he talked to me for a little bit. He visited me in college this one time, and then he kind of just pushed me to the curb, and it really hurt because he was kind of the first person that I really opened up to and talked to about being gay. And I had met his mom and his friends and his siblings, and I was just head over heels for this person. And in my head, like I always do when I meet someone, I always fall head over heels and kind of paint this perfect future with that person, and he kind of crushed that. And with that, my self-esteem just kind of dropped because I kind of kept nagging at him, asking him why he didn't want to be with me, why he stopped talking to me. And I finally got an answer, and he was just like, I'm just not that into you. You're not my type, and it's not going to work out. And that crushed me. It honestly brought out every single insecurity that I had, because I just kind of had a lot to deal with in the first place when it came to my insecurities, because I had just gotten out of high school and I was dealing with all the emotions of being a Christian and being gay and feeling like the world didn't accept me, and listening to all the things that people do say about gay people. And honestly, I've reached out to several people on the internet at that time and gotten turned down and rejected, and some people were really harsh. And when I was posting pictures of myself, people were really harsh, because on the internet we can be really harsh and hide behind a screen, and it's just horrible, because I feel like a lot of that has to do with the fact that people are insecure, and some people, it makes them feel better to tear other people down, because if they're not feeling great, then why should anybody else? So for me, most recently, that person has reached back out to me, and he had messaged me, and I kind of let him know how I felt and how he made me feel back then. And he apologized, and he told me that he was really proud of the person that I had become, and that he really looks up to me, and that he thinks that I'm attractive, and that he thinks that I'm smart, and that I'm doing really well for myself. So I guess a little part of me just kind of like warmed up inside, because this person that had hurt me so much in the past had kind of come back and mended me as well. And I know that you shouldn't allow people to do that to you. When you're a person, those types of things do kind of cheer you up. Those types of things do kind of like make you feel a little bit more confident in yourself. Honestly, I feel like a big part of me, like I said in my last video, is still kind of searching for that acceptance from my dad, because he made me feel so worthless growing up, because he never really seemed to point out anything that I did well and like applaud me for that. He would always point out my flaws, so that was what I always kind of looked at. So for me, my self-worth has always just kind of been like teetering over like the edge, and it's just like, for once, I would love to feel like I am smart, I am attractive, I am successful. But for me, like, no matter what, I am always at that point where I'm like, I could have done better, I can do better, I need to push myself harder next time. And honestly, I've always been afraid of failing because I feel like my dad or my grandmother would rub it in my face that I failed. So I always played it safe and didn't really take risks. I know that I have taken risks in the past and failed, and it just kind of felt horrible. So I kind of got scared of taking risks. So from here on out, I am telling myself that when it comes to risks, I'm going to take them. I've been reading a book by Ray Dalio. It's kind of back there behind my book, which you would think that if my face is on a book, my face is on other things, people watch my YouTube channel, people subscribe to me, people like my stuff on Instagram, you would think that my self-esteem would have gone up. But I'm still at that point where I'm just like, I could do better. Maybe if I did this, I will learn how to accept myself. I've read tons and tons and tons of life coaching books, and I'm constantly looking for that answer to how do I make myself feel like I am worth it. Like, I know that since I've come out 11 years ago, I'm most definitely a different person than I was back then. I know that I'm worth more than someone hitting me. I know that I'm worth more than someone who cheats on me. I know that I'm worth more than people who talk bad about me behind my back. So it's not that I don't have any self-worth, it's just I lack some confidence in certain areas of my life, and I'm constantly trying to fix that. But I feel like a lot of that has to do with people who have been in my life that I look up to, who kind of throw me down and make me feel worthless. So for me, I feel like it's going to take a lot of different people kind of building me up. And honestly, where I'm at right now, I love my job and I've had amazing opportunities. If you haven't already, go check out my video that I did talking about reaching 6,000 subscribers, because I talked about some of the really cool things that have happened in my life since I started this YouTube channel. And you would think that that would build up my self-confidence, but still I'm thinking, oh, what can I do to make that better? And I'm constantly comparing myself to YouTubers that are doing better, and I'm looking at my numbers and I'm like, wow, I'm doing really well here. How do I make that happen over here? It's just a constant cycle, and yes, it's part of society today. And yes, the cancel culture of YouTube is kind of always in my head, because I feel like no matter what, I risk that chance of kind of fading into nothingness, which for me, it's never really been about fame, but it's also about making myself get out there so that the people that need to hear my videos do hear my videos. It's a huge cycle that I'm trying to figure out. But I hope you guys are having a great week, and I will talk to you guys next week. And if you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you know whenever I'm posting my next video. And if you have any comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Love hearing from you guys, and while you're at it, go check me out on my other social medias. I'll leave those links below. Got Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So see you guys later. Bye.